When the fourth and fifth gates opened, the air itself changed. The roar of divine power was replaced by something quieter, more unsettling, a silence that crawled beneath the skin. In that stillness, two battles began, one painted in elegance, the other in shadows, and both would prove that imitation, when taken far enough, becomes its own form of truth. Veyron's duel began with humiliation. Ultima's faithful butler, the demon who had served her for 4,000 years, knelt before an imitation of a man. Marco, the imperial warrior blessed with the unique skill adapter, a mimic, able to copy the strength of others and shape himself into their image. With Ludora's divine enchantment fused in his being, he had copied Kondo, the Empire's supreme swordsman. To everyone watching, he was perfection made flesh, a counterfeit god. Demon, your name is Veyron? I've seen enough. You cannot win. Marco's words were absolute, cold, certain, but Veyron smiled. To a demon who had endured millennia of blood and service, defeat wasn't a wound, it was a mirror. And in that reflection, something deeper stirred. A counterfeit can never approach the real thing, he said, and the air trembled as if the world itself took notice. Veyron's power, imitator, had always been a reflection of others, but when he tried to copy Rimuru, the world refused. And then, the voice of the world spoke. I cannot allow that. Instead, I will give you another power. It was not a gift born of mercy. It was a recognition of his devotion. And in that moment, Veyron's soul bloomed. His imitator skill evolved into ultimate gift, artist. No longer the power to mimic, but to recreate perfection, to craft beauty through will alone. Marco, for all his copied strength, felt it. The shift. The air around Veyron sharpened like a blade drawn across silk. The demon's presence had changed, refined, precise, terrifyingly real. When Veyron spoke again, his voice was calm, but it carried the weight of an artist unveiling his masterpiece. A new form emerged, Veyron as Byakuya Araki, the legendary swordsman once called the epitome of imitation. Even the way he breathed was flawless. Marco's confidence faltered. Wait, what? You even feel like a different person from before. Then the blades met. Marco's Baika, Gokatatsu, a flurry of divine thrusts, clashed with Veyron's gallery fake, multi-layered blossom flash. 8 slashes collided with 5, folding the air into a storm of steel and light. For a moment, no one breathed. And then, silence. Marco's arms fell first, then his weapon, then his pride. The perfect forgery had defeated the imperfect imitation. He, I'm not gonna kill you. Veyron whispered, tilting his head ever so slightly, as if pondering how best to sign his work. What followed wasn't mercy. It was cruelty in the purest, most deliberate form. Veyron, the gentleman butler, became something else entirely. A demon in service not to chaos but to devotion. His devotion to Ultima, his mistress, his muse. Every scream, every tear from his opponent was art. Marco begged, "Stop, please, I surrender. I'll serve you, just don't." Veyron's laughter was quiet, delicate. If a war is underway, we must never accept surrender. Isn't that wonderful? His words dripped with elegance, but there was no warmth, only purpose. When Marco screamed for help, when he called for Kondo, Veyron silenced him with almost tender care. A very pleasant kind of wail, but it might disturb the others, so please be quiet for a while. And with that, he tore out his tongue. His smile never wavered. To the onlookers, it was monstrous. To Veyron, it was sacred, because in his twisted, meticulous way, he had done what no imitation could. He had created a masterpiece, complete in agony and beauty. As Marco's body fell, Veyron stood tall, brushing imaginary dust from his sleeve. A counterfeit no longer, an artist crowned by the abyss. Then came the fifth gate, where Veyron's victory was a performance, Soei's was a whisper. The shadow that moved for Rimuru, the assassin who spoke little but thought deeply, now walked alone into the void. The quiet hum of his presence felt like a blade drawn across thought itself. He had witnessed his master's evolution, Rimuru consuming Veldora, subduing Velgrund, transcending into something beyond comprehension. And that vision both inspired and haunted him. He could feel the distance between them. "Let's get this over with," he murmured, his voice stripped of all vanity, "so I can hurry back to Sir Rimuru's side." Waiting for him was Gardner, the fourth of the Imperial single digits, a monster in human skin, a sadist who guarded the Emperor himself. He greeted Soei with a grin that reeked of arrogance. "Since you're here and all, I hope you enjoy it, huh?" Soei said nothing, just a quiet exhale. "So I'm losing precious time in order to dispose of you?" he finally said, and then he vanished. Gardner's sword cut through empty space. A gunshot echoed. Blood burst from his lips. Poison, speed, precision, all layered into one strike. Soei had ended him before he even began. Or so it seemed. The body that fell was not real. Gardner appeared behind him, his blade thrusting through Soei's chest, his sword splitting his skull in one merciless motion. But even that was deception. The Soei he had slain dissolved into mist. A simple replication is good enough to use as a decoy. Soei's voice drifted from the dark. "You are wasting a great power there." Gardner turned. Too slow. Too afraid. His secret was no longer his own. The parallel existence skill Velgrind herself had granted him was nothing before Soei's understanding. The shadow had already dissected it, structurally, spiritually. Desperation took over. Gardner burned his life away, multiplying his bodies in a final storm of madness. The arena filled with 1,000 blades, all aimed at Soei. For a moment, the shadows struggled to keep pace. And then, the voice returned. "You are not forgiven, Soei. Thus, I will grant you power as well." It was not divine grace. It was judgment. A recognition of what Soei was, loyal, envious, quietly yearning to be worthy of Rimuru's light. In that instant, his skill transcended. Replication became truth. Shadows converged. Soei became everywhere. "That it is," he said from a dozen places at once. "And so is this one. If you understand that, then die." The shadows exploded. From every direction came tendrils of black, seizing Gardner's bodies, strangling them one by one. There was no scream, only the muffled sound of breath leaving a man's lungs. Soei's eyes glowed. Calm, merciless, absolute. Ultimate gift? Tsukuyomi, Lord of Moonshade. The eye of the moon had opened. In its reflection, every secret was revealed, every movement predicted, every escape sealed. Gardner's resistance collapsed into silence. When the light returned, only Soei remained. His expression unreadable, his tone almost reverent. "Sir Rimuru already took care of Lady Velgrind," he murmured to the empty air. "This granite you mentioned is being attended to by Benimaru, one far stronger than I." And just like that, he vanished, melting back into the world that had always been his, the place between thought and form, between shadow and devotion.